Hi everyone, welcome to the video. This one is about my monthly stock photography and stock videography earnings for the month of May 2024. And what have I been up to in May? It was a pretty full-on month, I have to admit. First of all, I made a video about a possible replacement for my current camera, the Canon 70D. And the video I made was about my 400mm wildlife lens coupled with the kind of entry-level Canon camera, the R50. And I went out to a nature reserve and just photographed and videoed birds in flight and also waterfowl in their natural environment. So if you haven't seen that video and you're interested in how a new mirrorless entry-level body performs with an old EF 400mm f5.6 prime lens, then check that out. I also made another video about my stock photography replacement setup, and that is the R50 and the 18 to 150mm super zoom. That video will come out later in this month, that's June, and keep an eye out for that because the Canon R50 and that super zoom have a lot of potential for replacing my current setup. But of course the end result will be in that video, so stay tuned for that. I also went to an outdoor car exhibition at the beach in May and took a lot of photos of VW and other mostly German air-cooled classic cars, and I met a couple of my subscribers, Milos and Patrick, so that was great fun. And I've uploaded the first photos from that shoot. So let's get into the stock agencies now, and May saw an improvement on overall results in comparison to April, where I had a really disappointing total amount of sales for the month and earnings. Luckily, May has improved on that. And we'll start off with Adobe Stock now, and I sold 24 assets, and that includes one video sale. One of the interesting things about Adobe Stock is they offer you to nominate photos that you have for entry into the free collection. And what they do is they offer this free collection to customers, but they pay the contributor, that is me, $5 per photo, and 122 of my photos got into the free collection. And I just had a look in my history, my sales history, to make sure none of those photos were likely to exceed $5 in sales over a year period. And most of them didn't, so I ended up nominating pretty much all of my photos for the free collection. And I think if I sold, or if they selected all of those photos, then they would pay me something like $600, which in this day and age with stock photography is too much to refuse. Continuing on with car themes now, I sold 2 editorial photos of classic Australian cars in Australia when I was visiting Tasmania recently, well, a year or two ago. And one of those vehicles was a classic Toyota Land Cruiser parked on a street in a very rural town in Tasmania called New Norfolk. And it's a really out of the way spot, quite remote, and just says everything about bush and Australian rural life. And the other photo was of a classic Australian car that young guys often did up and made into a really fast car, and that was a Holden Tirana. Both of those photos sold for a total of $3.30. Another interesting photo that I sold, which only sold for $1, and that was an editorial photo, was of an old-fashioned tobacco shop where you walk into this tiny little shop in a rural Dutch town, and from wall to wall are all of these tobacco products, including cigars and cigarettes. And of course, smoking is in the news. You have also vaping taking over from traditional tobacco smoking. So it's a newsworthy photo, and I sold that photo for $1. And my last interesting photo was a photo I took of a couple of really colourful beach chairs sitting on a beach in nice sunny conditions with the water in the background and the horizon as well. And there's pretty much nobody on the beach, so it's just a nice, calm, summery vibe photo, which, as I said, sold for $1. In total for Adobe Stock in May, I made $24.34. Pond 5 now, and I had a surprise sale, which I did not expect, but it's most welcome. And that is of a kind of swarm of yellow jacket or European wasps that are kind of crawling all over this cafe table in Germany. It was, I think, the end of the Corona time, and we just went for a day trip to Germany, the town called Aachen, and we had a lovely lunch in this cafe outdoors, and it was a beautiful sunny warm day. And of course, in the summer you get lots of wasps coming out hunting for protein and sugar to feed their young, because it's their breeding season. And that video, which I think is an editorial, sold for $19.41. iStock Getty now, and I had a really disappointing month for iStock with only 14 sales. And that includes 2 video sales, but despite a couple of video sales, the total amount that I earned for iStock was quite low. One of the video sales was a commercial video of a seabird, a diving seabird called a guillemot, which fishes in the North Sea and the Atlantic. Unfortunately, it was washed up on the beach near my home, and I just took a low-down video of that with the movement of the sea behind the bird, and that earned only $1.85. Another video which I was really happy to sell, even though it didn't earn much for me, was when I was walking in a nature area near The Hague, and it's kind of a water collection area for drinking water, so the ponds and stuff are really pristine and clean and clear, and you can look down right to the bottom of these ponds. And sometimes you can see the most unexpected things, like 1 meter long northern pike, which are a freshwater predatory fish. And they're about, as I said, the biggest ones can reach 1 meter long, and they're kind of barracuda shaped, like a little torpedo. And I just got my mobile phone and videoed them from the top as they're kind of swimming stationary in the water, and there's like freshwater current moving against them, but they're actually just kind of moving like that in the water, but not going forward. And that made 93 cents. All of the rest of the sales were tiny amounts, and I only made $4 pathetic $1.20 for iStock. Now to my biggest disappointment of May, and that is Alamy. I'm not sure what is going on with Alamy. I haven't made any sales since February of this year, and I'm getting a bit worried. I don't know what the problem is. I hope they're not upset with me for making a very honest video about how I sell photos, my sales secrets for selling photos on Alamy. I really don't think that is the problem, but to be quite honest, I'm a bit in the dark as to why I'm not selling images there at the moment. Obviously, I'm not the only one. A lot of my viewers also say the same thing. But yeah, I don't know, I might contact them and just ask them if there's anything I can do to increase my chances. See if that works. And finally for Shutterstock, where I had 29 sales, and that includes one video. One of the highlights was a photo of a fallen tree after a storm here in The Hague, and that was an editorial photo, and that sold for $2.18. Another photo that sold was an editorial photo that I took way back in 2011 when the Dutch government were building up the coastal defences of the Netherlands and pumping sand from out in the North Sea onto the beaches near The Hague. And a byproduct of that is sometimes if you walk along the beach at low tide, you can find fossils from up to 30,000 years ago, maybe even to 1,000,000 years ago. I know when I walk on the beach with my kids sometimes, where I've found a jawbone of a cave bear, and also recently we found a fragment of a mammoth's tooth. So it's interesting that they've pumped all of these fossils onto the beach. And what happened during the Ice Age was the stretch of land, well, what is now water between the Netherlands and England, that was all dried up because of the Ice Age. The water level had dropped, and animals were roaming free in that space between Europe and the United Kingdom. When the Ice Age ended, of course, the North Sea came down, and those animals, such as the mammoths, the woolly rhino, they died out, and the rest of the animals were isolated to either the Europe side or the England side. Anyway, that photo of pumping sand onto the beach, 43 cents. Some editorial sales now, and the first one is of a Volkswagen Combi at the beach in The Hague, and that earned me 60 cents. Another one is an editorial photo of a climate change protest where school kids all got together in a place in The Hague and protested against climate change, and that earned me 60 cents. And another very kind of stock photo where the most kind of not very stimulating subject, and that's of a rubbish skip parked on a road outside our house, and that was an editorial photo, also earned me 60 cents. I guess the biggest highlight was my video sale of the you-know-what gannet trapped in plastic on the beach, and that earned me $26. All up for Shutterstock, I earned $33.71, but that video of $26 made up the majority of that total. So if it wasn't for that video sale, I would have only earned like $7.71, which is putting me back into the pain that I was experiencing in April, and I don't want to think about that. I did have a surprise sale with Dreamstime in May as well, and that was an editorial photo of a wildlife warning sign in Tasmania, warning traffic that wildlife is in the area, so drive slowly, and that earned me $2. Now, how much did I earn in total for the month of May? Well, if this video was in any way helpful to you guys, I would really appreciate it if you liked it, and that will help me with the YouTube algorithm. In total for May, I earned $83 for my stock photography and stock videography, which is an improvement from last month. Obviously, I have been stretching myself too thin in life lately, and obviously stock photography has borne the brunt of that neglect. But yeah, I'm not unhopeful, and hopefully in the coming months, Adobe Stock free catalog, or whatever it's called, will start delivering some results for me as well, and contribute to building up my monthly total for June and July and going into summer. How did you guys do? I'm very interested to hear how much better you are doing than me, but that's fine. I look forward to hearing all about it, and good luck with the month of June. See you in the next one.